Hello, this is I think part 5 of my intro to HTML and CSS, and I decided I'm just going to jump right into JQuery and do just a quick, here's how you get JQuery up and running. So I'm going to get it working, and then I'll talk a little bit about what JQuery is. So here's our website that we've been working on, and I'm going to, let me get rid of that extra. I'm going to go back to our HTML. So right now we are not linking to any JavaScript files, so I'm going to first add a folder called JS just to keep things neat. And then inside there, I'm going to add a new file. I'll save that as script.js. And then in index.html, I want to import that file. So I'm going to do a script tag source equals, and then this is the index page. I need to just go into JS. So I just do JS and then slash script.js. So that's pointing to that file. But I need one more. I need to import the CDN link to jQuery. So if I go to code.jquery.com, it takes me to jQuery core, and I can grab the minified version. If you want to just sort of poke around jQuery, I recommend it. If you click on uncompressed and you grab this link, you can kind of peruse all the code that is jQuery. So jQuery is basically just a library built in JavaScript that allows you to manipulate the DOM a little bit faster using slightly different syntax than you would if you were using just plain old JavaScript. And there's, I don't know, a few thousand lines of code, but you can actually see all that is jQuery. Okay, so let's grab this embed script. And I want to make sure that I import it above my script so that jQuery is available to my script. So now that we have that in there, I've already started, so I did a few things, and I'd rather just do it with you. So I'm going to just delete all this stuff and start from scratch. Okay, so I have the read stuff H2. It's got a bunch of text and a kitten. So I wrapped a div around the whole thing so that I can hide this div and everything inside it will be hidden. So that was my first step, was adding this div. I'm going to add a class here of show article, and then I'm going to add a class of click me. Okay, so first thing I want to do is hide this. So I want to make it so that if I click on it, it'll show it. Did I not save that? Yeah, I didn't save it. Okay, so here we go. We have this text. We want it to be hidden on default, and then when I click it, I want to show it. So we'll go back to the style. I will say .show article, and by default, I'll say display none. Okay, cool. So just the words now. And then the other one, the H2 has a class of click me. So I'm going to go into my script and I'm going to say, hey jQuery, it's kind of how I talk to jQuery, find a class called click-me, and when I click on it, so .click, I want you to run a function. The function always has 2 parentheses and 2 curly, like open and close curly bracket. If you do all this right from the start, it'll save a million hours of typoing. So once we do that, we go in between the curly brackets because that's the body of our function. And I'm going to say, when I click, I want you to find the show article div, and I want you to change the CSS from display none to display block. Okay, let's try this out. Refresh, click, And then there you go. Okay, so first step. So another cool things that I can do is instead of saying CSS display block, I can say slide, oops, lowercase, camel case, slide down. And then for this, I'll just say slow. There's a few different variables you can do, but I'll just do slow. And then now, if I refresh, I can click on this and it will slowly slide down. So the problem is now is that I cannot like re-click on it to get it to come up. So let's look what we can do. So jQuery slide down, and then if I Google that, I get this api.jQuery, which is all the documentation. So let's take a look at what we can do with slide down. And it'll just have basic syntax at first. So I'm going to keep scrolling, 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 and see if things get interesting. So I can do duration, easing, but I want to see if there's some sort of like only do it if it's not visible. So here I have when I click something, if something is hidden, then slide down slow, otherwise hide it. So I'm going to copy this and use it to modify. So I'm just going to put it down here because I'm going to have to do quite a bit of modifying. So I'm clicking, I have a function, and then now I want to add an if statement. So if something, and if is just like a function, so I'm just going to type out the whole if. If parentheses, curly bracket, do something, and then here's that else, and else is just else, and then 2 curly brackets. Okay, so I want to ask the question, if, let's see, show article, right, because that is hidden. So if show article is, and then I have to use quotes, and then colon hidden. So I guess that equals display none. Then slide down slow. So I'm going to cut that and put that here. Otherwise, hide. So this will be otherwise show article dot hide. Right. So I basically just made it work for my code by replacing this div because they were using like the first div. If the first div is hidden, then do it, open it slowly, otherwise hide. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it. And then fingers crossed this works. Okay, click, slow, and then, okay. It's a miracle. All right, I'm going to save this and move on to another jQuery function. All right, thanks.